Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a really handsome looking estate. This is a 1.6 SE Plus Tourer Civic, and this is 64 plate car, as you can see here, with just 52,000 miles. Finished in white, looks absolutely superb on these cars, by the way. Front of the car, very clean. Lights and lenses are clear and intact. Bumper, very good. Just the odd minor little touching done over the years, as you'd clearly expect in any car this age. Bonnet of the car, very clean indeed. Only the tiniest little stone chips. Near side, really smooth in the panels. Near side front alloy, really good as well. That's one that takes all the bash, and these alloys are far better than you'd normally see on a Civic this age as well, by the way. Worth pointing out, those front tyres are going to be changed. Actually, we're putting 2 new tyres on the front. They're good, but they're just getting a little bit close, so we're getting those tended to. Near side rear alloy, again, really nice. My favourite angle for these Civics. I think it's just a really handsome looking beast. Come around the back of the car, again, all generally very good indeed. Offside of the vehicle, panel work done that side, really nice. There's a couple of tiny little touch-ins done just on the bumper there. It's on the plastic bumper, of course, it could never rust. Plastic, obviously. There we are, but again, try and show what we can. Offside rear alloy, again, lovely condition. And the main panels are really good. And offside front alloy, the only one that shows even the tiniest bit of curbing, it is only very small indeed. But externally, the car's in very good condition. So a really good looking car. Coming to the back of the car now, absolutely cavernous boots, as you'd expect. On an estate car, it's nice to see someone has invested in having the space saver wheel option for this car, because it's normally just the inflation kit. Coming to the back now, so the sun's come out, which has made it a little bit glary and a bit dark all of a sudden inside, but there we are. But the fabrics are all really good. This is where the Civics tend to be very heavily used, but this does show obviously signs of use, but it's minimal compared to most. Right, so I decided to park it in the shade for the front of the car because you just can't see it otherwise. But seats again in really good condition. The driver's door card, all of them in very nice condition. Footwell area is lovely and clean. It really is in very nice condition indeed. Just the driver's seat, the only one that shows any kind of wear, but again minimal for the age of the car. So finally, coming under the bonnet, I always forget to do these on the recent videos. I do try and remember when I can, but it's a wonderfully presented engine bay. It's been kept absolutely beautifully as well. So inside the car, engine's running into this section so the dash can be seen illuminated, which I try and always do. Dashboard looks in beautiful condition. Just quickly come up here for you. You see 52,828 miles. Pop the car into reverse while in that same position. You've got the rear parking camera all working exactly as it should. But it really is in fabulous condition in here. And then come around to what I think is the view of the best dashboard you're going to see in this class by a country mile. It is a wonderful interior. Obviously no warning lights at all on the dashboard whilst the engine's running. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, both here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, so I'm just going to change the angle slightly of the camera. Quick road test video for a Honda Civic. It's a 1.6 SE Plus diesel estate, or Tourer as Honda like to refer to it. Car is registered LV64EHP, and mileage currently showing is 52,828 miles. So I'm just waiting for this chap to come up the road because it's quite a wet, soggy day and he's going to get splashed if I go flying past him. The reason we do these videos is very simple indeed. We just want to make sure that if anyone is looking online at any of our cars, they actually get to see the vehicles we're selling in operation. And the reason we feel that's important is because we've travelled to go and see cars which have looked perfectly good in the photographs and in the descriptions, but when we've gone there and driven the cars, we found out that it's had a fundamental issue which we would have much rather known about before setting off. So hence that's why we do it. We also do it on these lovely quiet country roads very close to our premises, and this actually forms part of the road test route we take prospective buyers on. So the reason we do the video on it is so hopefully then it'd be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car in question, I am a bit biased with these cars. I love the Tourers, absolutely love them. I've owned 2 or 3 of them. I think they are fantastic cars. Not only are they they're very, very smart looking, quite sharp design, but they're incredibly practical. I mean, they're just a really good estate car. But going through, as I always do, the mechanical stuff, starting with the engine, which starts instantly and settles to completely smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard whilst the engine's in operation. Temperature gauge running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda car. The car's been running for some time now. But that's really only half the story, because as you'd expect of any Honda engine, it's beautifully engineered. Timing chain, no cam belts on these cars, so no big service looming on them, and a much better way to join top and bottom of an engine. But it's, its reputation for reliability is unmatched in its class. But it's a lovely engine to use day in, day out. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's tractable, it pulls, lustily straight away, picks up, really keenly. But what I love about it more than anything else is the fact that, it is a nice engine to drive, but there's lots of them with engines which are nice to drive, not just Honda. But what it delivers day in, day out is, say, accessible performance straight away, but the economy comes easily to the car. It's not one of those cars you've got to really nurse and be gentle and tickle the throttle to get good economy figures. Far from it. I've owned, as I said, numerous of them, doing shorter trips, which is predominantly what I do these days. I'm up to 60 to the gallon relatively easily. When I get on a much longer trip, if I go down to see my friends in Dorset, just flowing with the traffic, not driving like a lunatic, but just keeping an eye on my speed. 70 again comes relatively easily to the car. You can really, if you want to nurse them along, you can exceed those figures. You can get worse than those figures quite easily by rowing it along like a petrol engine. But as I said, it's one of those engines that the economy does come very easily to the car. Engine then feeds through into the clutch and gearbox. The clutch in the car absolutely perfect, bite point exactly where it's meant to be, and it's nice and smooth in operation as well. The gearbox is brilliant on these cars. Most modern front wheel drive cars, the gear lever isn't going into a gearbox at all, it's going to a cable which goes to the gearbox. And that means that some gearboxes, they're perfectly good, but they can be light, vague, you just don't feel involved at all with them. And this feels as though that goes straight into a gearbox. I mean, Honda put a lot of effort into this, so it feels weighty. Every gear change has a wonderful action that you feel as if the gears are engaging as you're putting the gears through. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and that feels as it would have done when it was new. Steering on the car tracks absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, and it's a wonderful power steering system. It's really quick, it's direct, it's very accurate and precise, and it matches the chassis perfectly, because not all cars do. I mean, sometimes the steering's a bit too quick or a bit too slow, and it can just doesn't work together. This just works in harmony. It's brilliantly done. Because what the chassis gives you as well is a change of direction is exceptional on the car. It flows through corners with beautiful damping and body control. So the enthusiastic driver loves these cars. But the flip side is it's also very, very comfortable indeed. The ride is really good. It deals with pretty much all bumps really well, even the sharper ridges that the last generation struggled with. But this one, I said, absolutely fantastic. What I'm looking for on road test is I'm just listening out for any noises coming from underneath the car that shouldn't be there, any kind of rattles or clonks, and nothing at all. Absolutely perfect. Brakes on the car, just going to make sure no one is directly behind me. Hold on to my things. Bear with me 1 second. Give it a nice hard shove. There's a nice solid brake pedal on the vehicle. Brings the car up nice and straight and true. And what I'm looking for, particularly on any brakes, is just no kind of pulsing or vibrations. coming back through the brake pedal, and there are none at all. Coming inside the car, I mean, I love this interior. I told you I was biased, and I really am. It's a wonderful interior, which is a matter of personal taste. But what people can't deny, even those that don't necessarily like the architecture of the dashboard, is a brilliant dashboard to use in terms of the layout of the controls and the ergonomics of it. It's also amazingly well made. I mean, there is not a squeak or rattle from the interior of the car, and that's in contrast to some of the kind of the premium competitors, which can feel quite rattle boxes by comparison, especially their estate versions. But as I say, the interior is beautifully done. The most conventional part is this centre stack here, but even that's, you know, just brilliantly easy. We've got a radio which, you know, anyone could just master in seconds. You've got a dual zone climate control system offering different temperatures side to side, and it blows out absolutely ice cold air, by the way. But my favourite part is this dash directly in front, this two-tier design. You've got this information display up there which doubles as the camera as well, but if you change things like the radio or your fan speed or any temperatures, you don't have to look at your display down there. The display comes up there, so you're not taking your eyes off the road unnecessarily. But by far and away my favourite part is having the speedo, big digital speedo, directly in line of sight, so that as you're driving along you can keep an eye on pedestrians, cyclists, other cars, whoever, but at the corner of your eye, without taking your eyes off the road, the speed is always there available for you to see. I think it's just genius. And as I said on many of these videos, it's to Honda's shame that the next generation Civic, they decided to put that display down into the binnacle underneath, which I think really is a backward step, because it just confuses. That's just by itself. You see nothing other than that, which I think is the beauty of it. Down below we have more conventional dials, but again really nicely laid out. A big rev counter dominating in the middle, flanked by the usual temperature and fuel gauges. A steering wheel which is perfect. It's thickness of the rim, the diameter of the wheel, leather bound. You know, it's the perfect steering wheel, and it feels like new to hold. All the controls working exactly as they should on the steering wheel there as well. As I said at the start of the video, the point is, it's only brief, it's to show the car in operation, but to feedback on any issues there might be with the car, which there's nothing at all. It drives absolutely perfectly. Should you have any questions at all, as always, don't hesitate, do give us a call.